So, where do I begin? I think this will be the most valuable video that I've put out so far. It is going to be the hardest video to do because I really don't want to do it, because it only happened last night and it's only 8 o'clock this morning. So first thing in the morning, I had my biggest loss ever last night, and yeah, I'll just get it out of the way. I lost $1,374 last night. So yeah, I know everyone's probably like, wow, but the reality is I didn't want to do this video, but my goal is to be as transparent as possible when it comes to day trading, and it's not all sunshines and rainbows. No matter how many traders you might follow or watch, or whether it's just me, maybe I've made it seem like that in the past, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Yes, you can make money, but you can also lose it just as quick if you don't know what you're doing, which in this case I clearly didn't know what I was doing. I've never had this happen to me before, ever. I've been trading for what, 9 months now, and I've never seen I've never been involved in a stock movement such as this one that I'm about to show you. So to get that out of the way, this will probably turn a lot of people off trading, and I feel like I haven't stressed it enough in the past, and this is obviously the perfect video to be able to stress it. If you're not comfortable with having a size loss like this, and you know, I always say, hey, I made $300, $400 in 6 minutes. You know, they're typically my bigger wins. I've had that a few times, but this one is like a $1,300 loss in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So obviously a lot worse than my best wins, but it's the reality of day trading. And if you want to get into day trading, unless you're an absolute natural, don't expect to not have a big loss like this one day, because it will happen. You will get caught into a stock, whether it's like, you know, the first 3 months of your trading, or after your 9 months in like me, you will get a big loss like this. And you know, if you asked me last night if I would continue trading, I would have told you no. This is it, I'm done. It's not working out. Every time I go up a little bit of money, I then take 3 days, you know, take 2 weeks to get up a little bit of money, and then it takes me 2-3 days to lose it all and go down another $500,000. And it's so mentally draining to be able to be patient on the way up, and then 2-3 days it's all gone and more. And you're like, you got to be mentally tough for this, man. Like I'm not trying to talk all, you know, big game, but I'm pretty mentally tough. But this one last night, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not trading anymore. This is it. It's happened too many times to me, and I've never had a loss this big, but in saying that, but I have had, you know, when I first started, a week I'd go up $500. I'm like, yes, $500 in a week, that's amazing. And then I'd lose over the next 3 days $700-800, and it just ruins you. It ruins you. But like I said, tend to be pretty strong mentally, and yeah, last night I would have told you I wouldn't trade again, but you sleep on it, you wake up in the morning, and you put it all back into reality, and you go, look, I save up for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there's my money back. In the scheme of your whole life, it's not a lot of money at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make excuses at the moment. It's devastating. It is massive, massive money lost. But in the scheme of a whole year, of a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's not a lot of money. And if I can lose another $10,000-15,000 over the next 6 months, to be consistently profitable, making $500 or $1,000 a week, would you do it? I sure would. I'd end up going down, what, $15,000. It'll probably, over a year, take me that next year, I get it all back, and then you got 30-40 years where this skill can keep making you, you know, $500 a week or whatever I said. So in the scheme of things, that's what I like to remember. Yeah, at the same time, some people might just think, oh, you know, if you don't have it by now, you're never going to get it. That's your opinion. You're entitled to have it, but it's from all the mentors I follow in trading, none of them picked it up within, oh, actually there's a few talents out there that picked it up, you know, within 6 months, but majority take at least a year or two to start remaining consistently profitable. And that's where I'm at. Like I know how to profit off the market. I'm just not consistent. I take too much risk, and then I don't stop it quick enough if the stock is going against me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I covered everything there. Yeah, so if you want to trade, you got to be prepared for this. I know this will probably take out 3/4 of you from ever wanting to trade because you aren't willing to risk that money. But you know, this might be a bit controversial, but if you're willing to take a loan out to buy a car, you know, you're basically signing up to definitely lose that money over a period of time. Obviously, it's not going to be in 15 minutes, but you're signing your loan to 100% lose that money within, you know, 6 months or whatever, because the car will depreciate. Brand new car depreciates, and you're paying interest on the car. That's what, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you straight, taking money out to buy a brand new car is worse than what I did last night. So you put everything back into perspective, and yeah, I don't know. You just got to push on. Yeah, this is me pretty raw because like I said, it only happened last night. But yeah, still pretty upset. But you know, what are you going to do about it? So I do want to show you what happened. So like I said from the get-go, this channel is to help teach you guys what not to do and what to do. This video is obviously going to be what not to do. So this KBSF, it was a stock that is known to spike real big and then fade, and then spike real big, fade, spike real big, fade. It's happened several times over the last year or so. And if this chart loads, I'll show you all the spikes and drops. Okay, so here we go. So I was looking at this stock. It's got a really small float. It is a micro float, which means it's got under 1 million share float, which means you can only buy, the stock only has under 1 million shares available to buy and sell. So as I've spoken before, when you got a low float like that, if you get a lot of buyers in, it causes stock rotation between so many people, and it normally drives the price upwards. So basically I've just been looking at the past, and I'm like, okay, obviously I wasn't investing in this stock or trading this stock to go up to $20. I wasn't. I was buying it in at around $8.70 because it broke this last big resistance point. It broke that. The high of that resistance point was $8.44. I bought it pre-market at around $8.55. I'm like, okay, pre-market, this thing's, I'll show you pre-market in a second. It was forming a great pre-market pattern, and it had broken the previous resistance, which also had very similar volume. It had 3 million shares traded on that day, and it had already broken that. So I was like, okay, I'll be expecting this now to maybe test this area around the 1170s, but if not, even if it went from $8.60, I was trying to take profits around $9, or just short of $9, $8.90 I think I was, because I was like, there could be massive resistance at $9. Obviously, as you can see, this stock doesn't spike and hold its highs, it always spikes and then drops. I was like, it might hit that $9 resistance point, being a full dollar, and it won't break through. So I was trying to sell my shares at $8.90. So that's the daily chart. And by the way, the news, I was trying to find the news and I couldn't see any news on this, but I saw that there was massive volume. That was my mistake. I should have seen that there was no news on my news platform, and I should have went digging. You can read SEC filings, which are compulsory reports that the company needs to put out onto the stock exchange for possible investors to be able to read and, you know, get basic information on them. And in this case, there was a company buying, I think it was 180,000 shares, but I didn't see that at the time. And that's all the stock, that's all the news was. And it's hard to explain because I haven't spoken about it before, but last week there was also a stock that ran from I think $2 up to $30, which is, you work out the percentage. I don't even know what percentage that is, and it basically went up to $34 over 3-4 days because a company bought a massive amount of shares that were available in that stock, and then after it rose however much, that company dumped all their shares, and then supply demand. If you got so much supply, not enough demand, the stock is just going to absolute free fall. And so that happened last week on one stock, and it basically happened on this, but I didn't realise because I didn't go digging. I just saw no news. I saw massive volume. I'm like, oh, there's no news, but there's massive volume. And it broke out of the previous resistance. It should run. So this is where I bought it. I was seeing this pre-market like breakout pattern forming. So it made a high, came lower, and then it's been steadily uptrending, holding previous supports like that, held, and then held there. So it broke that, came back down, held here, and then went up again, broke the pre-market high, broke the previous high there as well, and I was buying it in here. So pre-market, it was 20 minutes before the market actually opened. I bought it at around 8.55. It ended up getting up to just short of where I wanted to get out. Oh no, it got up to where I wanted to get out. Now, believe it or not, believe me or not, I had my sell order at 8.90. It hit that price, but it didn't sell because there were a lot of people selling at that price. Obviously, if there's only so many people willing to buy at that price, and there's yay many people willing to sell, not all the sell orders are going to get filled. Some of them will, because there's some buyers, but the buyers aren't matching the sellers, so all the stock won't get bought up at 8.90. Only some of it will. And so I'm not going to say unlucky, but I didn't get filled there because there weren't enough buyers at 8.90. It did hit, that was my sell target, but there weren't enough buyers at my sell target to fill my order. Filled others, but didn't fill mine. So then from there, it then turned. I was up. I think I was up $180 at that stage, which for me, before the market even opens, that's a pretty good result. $180 before the market opens, great result. But it then came back down in this following minute, but I was willing to hold it. I was like, okay, it hasn't really dropped below this 850 point. I'll hold it. It bounced up. Once it broke there, hindsight, once it broke this 850, I should have sold it. I should have sold it. I should have just went, nah, it's not going my way. It just had a little bounce off a 1 minute pullback. Had a bounce up, but then it just pulled straight back down again. I should have been selling there, hindsight. But I ended up falling back to this resistance point here because I saw, well, I had a previous high here, hit there, and then acted as support here and here. So I ended up reverting back down to this 825 area. Okay, so I was like, if it breaks 825, I'll be selling. I can't even move this thing over. There we go. So yeah, if it broke where that line is, I'll be selling. I don't know if you can sort of tell how quick this moved, but I had 300 shares at 850. So every dollar this drops, I'm losing $300 US. US is the key. I probably lost, I don't know, 800 American dollars, but when it translates to Australian, it blows out bigger. But so every dollar it goes down with 300 shares, I'm losing $300 US. So by the time, and you're talking, these are minute candles, and I'm like, okay, market hasn't opened yet. This is particularly why I moved my my stop order, is because I'm like, the market hasn't opened yet. Still technically, at this point, I was hoping for a break of 8.90. I was going to sell at 8.90, and then if it broke over $9 real clean, then I would buy back in and look for however high it went. But obviously it didn't do that, turned back around. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to hold this, keep it up until it drops below this point, and hopefully the market at least opens before it does the big drop. It didn't. Then I was looking, I was a little bit in shock, to be honest with you, because I've never seen a stock fall this quick. Never. I have, like, looking back at it, but in real time, and actually then also being in the stock, never seen a stock drop this quick, and I was shocked. And you know how I normally say, if it has a massive red candle, wait for the pullback. Always wait for the pullback. Well, do you see a pullback there? No. Had a little one here, but 768 to 790. I thought if it dropped basically 90 cents in 2 minutes, it would at least jump back up 40, like half of that, but it didn't. It went up a little bit, and then look at that candle. 1 minute went from 790 down to 620. So in that 1 minute, with that 300 shares, I lost like $800 in 1 minute. So that goes to show volatility there. So yeah, anyway, pre-market, this thing dropped, and I saw it dropped, and I looked at my P&L, and I was like, I was down. So it's hard to comprehend my thoughts, but this is where your thoughts are your own worst enemy, basically. So 5 minutes ago, I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to bank $200 pre-market. This is going to be awesome. 5 minutes later, you go from, oh, I'm going to bank $200 to, oh crap, how much do I lose before I cut this? I was down like 400-ish, and I was like, oh, I can't cut that. 400. It's got to bounce up. That just went way too quick. Well, this is the big lesson I learnt. It doesn't always have to bounce up, clearly, as you can see. And yeah, so it dropped, and I was still holding down here. So I held all that. This is going to be a terrible percentage. Down 26%, and I was still holding. You can tell I'm getting worked up as I'm just talking about this, but anyway. So I came down. This is where it had the bounce, but too bloody bad. It was already down 26%, and then it had a 10% bounce. So you're still down a massive percentage anyway. So it then bounced. I was still holding it. Sounds real bad, but it was at that point where I was like, I'm already down like $800. What's the difference between being down, $950 or $800? And that's when you should just exit, walk away, close the computer, go to bed. But yeah, anyway, I held it, and then when it broke down below this point here, where it sort of consolidated for a second, once it broke down there, I sold out. So, and then I'm not trying to like sugarcoat all this, but even then, I did make a right decision. I could have held this longer, hoping it was going to come back up here. So I sold it at around 650. Right? I lost $2 per share. 300 shares, $600 US. Yeah, ends up being like $900 US on that stock. If I held it all day, it's now at 420. So I got out after half of the drop. Like, that's still bad, don't get me wrong, but I then still could have held it for another, bigger, 30% loss. So this is where basically a lesson you can get off this is, okay, you're down 30%, it's better to stop out down 30% than just holding it and being like, nah, stuff it, I'm already down 30%, I'm just going to hold it now. Surely it'll come back up at least 15% over the next week. Wrong, because I got out down 30%, or by the end of the day it was down 60 something percent. So even though you already have a big loss, it's sometimes better to get out with that big loss than turning it into a catastrophic loss. Even though for me that sort of is a catastrophic loss. But anyway, yeah, so it's always important to still cut your loss even if it's already a massive loss. So try to keep your emotions out of it. And then at the same time, in this area I should have been selling. In this area, once it bounced I should have been selling, because it didn't seem like much at the time, because yeah, like I said, down 900, down 600, I'm still down massive money. But if I think about that into being up $300 on the day or break like zero, I'd take the 300 up every day. Well, I should have got out with a $600 loss instead of a $900 loss. But this is where your emotions, I'm telling you, emotions, it's a really tough thing to do. I'm telling you, the emotions kill you, and they got to me. I was emotional in this trade, and that's why it was a very bad trade. But like I said, I learnt from it. I know I said I thought I was going to quit yesterday, but there's no chance in hell I'm quitting, because I'm not a quitter. Call that you haven't learnt your lesson, I don't know, but we will find out. So the next trade I did, I'm not sure what the next one was, because I did that, and then then I did another trade, because I was just like, I'm just going to do another trade, stuff it. I'm already down that much. I'll try to at least get a few $100s back. Again, like I said, big mistake. If you have a loser like that, just walk away. There's no point continuing trading, because you're just going to lose more money, which I did. Oh yeah, so after that first one, I was down $900. So I then lost another, what, $400. So I saw this after it had already spiked and dropped. I was already emotional, already angry, already was chasing to get some money back, and it actually wouldn't have been a bad entry initially. I put my entry in at 203 because it had a sharp drop. Normally you see a bounce and then a continuation lower, which this had the exact thing I was expecting. But the only thing I wasn't sure about was how high this bounce would go. So I was trying to buy at 202, and basically at the time I was trying to buy it, it started running. So I didn't get my order filled. Then I chased a little bit. I ended up getting filled at 208. So I ended up getting filled in this green candle. I was looking for 215. That's what I was willing to sell at. Believe it or not, if you can see down here, it'll say what price it got to. There you go, got to 215 at the high and at the close of that candle. That's what my sell order was at. Believe it or not, that's 2 stocks. I had my sell order there. Didn't get filled because there weren't enough buyers at my sell price. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I was break even on the day because of that. I was still down, I think, $700 and something, but it made me 160 or so back. At the time, if I sold it, I was $160 back. And then yeah, it had this sudden 2-3 minute pullback all the way from 215 down to $1.70, which doesn't look big because of the drop. Because of the drop here, that's a massive drop. That's what makes it not look big, but it is a big drop. It is a 20% drop again. And I had 1,000 shares in that, which is around a $2,000 position, so another 20% off $2,000. And yeah, that's how you end up with a $1,300 red, or closer to $1,400 red day. Yeah, so it's hard putting this out for the whole world to see. You know, I'll probably get a lot of questions from people in real life, which will be fun and interesting to answer for. But like I said, I want to be as transparent as possible. That you can do this as a living. I still have no doubt in my mind. Last night I would have. This morning I got up and refreshed. Still a bit upset, but yeah, you can make this as a living. No doubt about it. You just need to be willing to learn some hard lessons along the way. Because even then, sometimes I might show you these lessons, but you will still have to learn them yourself. Because you know, it's one of those things where someone can tell you not to do something several times, but as long as you keep getting away with it, you keep doing it until that one time where that thing that person was warning you about, once it actually does happen, that's when you learn your lesson and you realise you can't always get away with it. And yeah, so like I said, I've never seen a loss that big before in my trading so far. I've never been involved in a stock that dropped that quick in my trading so far, and I've learnt so much from this. It's a very expensive lesson to learn, but I have learned a lot from this, and I hope you guys do too. And I hope that you don't have to go through this as well to learn a lesson. I hope you just learn off me, because I didn't think it would happen to me either, and well, look at this, 9 months in, it did. But yeah, like I said, put everything back into perspective. It is a bad day. In the last 2 weeks though, I was up a bit over $1,000. So basically I've just given my last 2 weeks profit away, and then I'm down another $370. So you got to put things in a perspective to be able to be able to take this loss. And yeah, that's it. Like, a pretty raw video. Didn't want to do it, but I thought I had to. I want to be as transparent as possible and not make it all out like it's sunshines and rainbows, but it can be a grueling journey. And yeah, I'm going to stop raving on now. It's basically all my emotions just coming out. But yeah, I hope you have a great day. And if you still want to follow your trading journey, I don't know if you want to now, but if you do, like and subscribe my YouTube channel. And you know, you'll learn lessons like this. You'll learn positive lessons as well on what you should do. And yeah, so yeah, hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Alright, take it easy.